Cindy Marie Jenkins. This is our first podcast in a series called See It or Skip It. We are here to help you dig into the Hollywood Fringe Festival by bringing you art choices. And our guest correspondents today are Thornton and Sara Fenton and Madeline Rosenstein. Can you all give just a little hello and short intro to yourselves?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Lem Thornton. I'm a producer with Moving Arts and work at 24th Street Theater. And I'm at Lemworks on Instagram and Twitter and everything else.
I'm Sara Fenton. I'm at Fentonova on Twitter and Instagram. I am a theater producer and currently in grad school for film production, and I make dances and films and plays.
Hi, I'm Madeline Rosenstein. My Twitter name is Mfrosens, that is M-F-R-O-S-E-N-S, and my Instagram is Notes Without a Pen. I go a little bit rogue with keeping traditional names. I do social media and crowdfunding consultant for arts and nonprofits. I have a background in theater, acting, everything actually that people would have hired me at the time.
Great. Awesome. So normally we're going to sit here and tell you the shows that we think you should see or skip, but since Fringe starts June 4th, we're going to do our Chance It's. Shows that caught our eye for whatever reason. Either they submitted to us or we just got interested in them and we think you should chance it. And you can see all these picks if you follow the hashtag ChanceItLA. So Lem, let's start with you.
My first one that I would chance it is Getting to Know You, which is, and I feel like as I was going through and looking at what was already out there, a lot of things I was drawn to were these like really intimate or super immersive-y experiences. And so Getting to Know You is a show with 8 audience members at a time, and you spend it sounds like you spend a lot of personal one-on-one time with each character as if you were like actually getting to know them. But there's a story involved, and that unfolding is interesting. And that's done by a lesser studio, and it's going to be at the Hollywood Dance Studio.
I'm curious what that's going to be like. I mean, it describes itself as each audience member experiences moments of increasing intimacy with various characters.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm picturing like a speed dating with the cast or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to hear what how that concept manifests itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely something now I want to see.
Yeah, right?
Or like they have to pull a Sleep No More where they check for a wedding ring before you get a private with Hecate.
Oh.
I went to a town hall and there's a similar project to this, and I unfortunately can't remember the name, but I wonder if what that person's project was is that the increasing intimacy was that you learned more about each character each time, but the thing is that the character keeps on going. You're dropped into their increasing intimacy, so it sounded really interesting. I don't know if this is the same project though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's fascinating. If you follow Noah Nelson, he has a No Proscenium podcast and he writes about it on Medium, and it's all about immersive and when you have agency and when you meaning like you can make choices within the show, within the performance, and just all the different technicalities and what immersive could mean and not mean. And so this is a lot more than we break the fourth wall, which some people think is immersive, and it's not.
Exactly.
Great.
So this is tagged as dark, edgy, experimental, black comedy, art, alcohol, and adult themes. So I guess if you're into those things, you can chance it on Getting to Know You.
I hope they let you drink during the show.
I hope they give me drinks during the show.
Yeah, they should.
It's not mentioned. I don't know. We'll have to clarify.
And again, we'll have all the info about the shows below. Sara, what is your first choice?
My first choice is I'm going to chance it on Skanky Me from Kankakee, and it just simply for the joy of saying the title alone.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty joyful.
my understanding with this, I know a little bit of the background on the show. It started as a solo show, and is now being staged with like dance numbers and baton twirling, and is being directed by, full disclosure, a friend of mine, Nancy Dobbs Owen, who's also an alum of the Directors Lab West. She consistently does good work, so I'm excited to see what she does with this. And I will be chancing it on a little bit of musical fun and camp. So if you're into that kind of thing.
In full disclosure, I did a short consultation with the author star of this, which is why I didn't choose it, even though it sounded like a lot of fun. But I was really excited when I saw that Nancy was directing and doing the choreography, because I think they would work together really well. So I think it'll be fun.
I'm also, I've done a lot of work with solo shows, so I'm curious to see how you take a solo concept and then add more people to it. Because sometimes you see solo shows and it's like, oh, if only this were a fuller production, or some things are meant to be solo shows and some things are meant to be more of an ensemble piece or a full play or a fully realized production. And so I'm just...
And this is a live band as well.
I believe so.
Yeah. They're at the Hudson because they need like the live band, great sound. And
rock musical.
Yeah, they emailed me. They emailed me. So I ended up looking at their Indiegogo campaign, and there you could hear the music, and it sounded like the music sounded really good, but it was the one guy singing it, and you can tell that there was, the way he changed his voice, you could tell it was different parts. So I think his show would transfer well to that, just based on hearing the different songs.
Cool. Oh, that's great that you can go to the Indiegogo and hear songs. I love hearing segments of songs for new musicals before I see it, so I have any idea if I would like it.
It's been really great as I was looking through to figure out what to chance it on, is that a lot of the projects, or not a lot, but there are several projects that are running Indiegogo campaigns, and that gives you like a little bit more of an insight into their show.
Yeah, sometimes their Indiegogo videos can work as sort of like trailers for what you might see on stage, hopefully, if done well.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is the ones that are done well are so much more compelling than what you see on their Hollywood Fringe page or their website for some reason, because they need money.
Well, you also have the video, which, I mean, especially how we all now, with technology, are just like scroll, we're like, oh, video, and so that gives us the audio and the visual. Our senses are explored.
Great. Skanky Me from Kankakee.
Kankakee.
And their hashtag is Skanky Me. Madeline, your first choice.
I'm going to change the tone a bit, what's been going on, and my first choice is The Blacks, a Clown Show, but it's not a traditional ha-ha laugh clown show. It's really reflected, it's really a reflection of the unfortunate ways of society looks, and it's what I call it as is the most in-your-face theater. Sarah Kane writing from the either the 17th century or the 18th century. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. And it's just shocking how, when reading the synopsis, how much it can relate to, especially what's going on here in America today. So that's my choice of Chance It.
That sounds, for so many reasons, it sounds fascinating.
I'm new to the whole idea of clown as something other than birthday clown. Call me theater inexperienced or whatever, but so the idea of, when I hear clown show, to me I think like light, funny, comedic, but this sounds like this is really dark comedy and almost satire, social commentary. Would you say that that's...
I would actually say that it's probably more of, for people that are familiar, like more of a bouffant or grotesque clown. So I think it would probably fall more under that than necessarily clown, but the title of the show, the man who wrote it called it was in French, but it translates to The Blacks, a Clown Show. So that's actually the title. It's not something that the company, I think they're called the Original Theater Company. It's not Original Now. Sorry.
Well, and I knew the basic plot a little bit, but there's a royal colonial court, and they wear white face masks, and then a group of unmasked quote unquote Negroes, it's their quotes, who represent colonized natives in an unspecified African village. I mean, I've heard this play was all over my college years, but I've never actually seen it, so I think this would be a really, really interesting one, especially with everything going on right now. Well, topical. Everything always going on that we're hearing about right now more often. But yeah, that is really interesting. difference in what we typically think of as clown,
Mm-hmm.
to tackle serious topics.
Well, I know, you sort of see clown and you're like, oh, maybe I can bring my son. Like,
Yeah.
and then,
15 plus, that's what they
yeah,
say.
15
Yeah,
plus. So,
I would definitely, if they have, and also just the tags, they have fearless, tragic comedy, identity, diversity, clown, dark humor, ensemble, and absurd. So at least it's nice that they're not trying to be like, we're a clown show, bring your children.
No, they would.
yeah, no, definitely. I would chance that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Great. So my first chance it is Romeo and Juliet, an ASL love story. This first came to me when I asked about Shakespeare adaptations because of our podcast from last week. And it's an abridged adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. They really go into the question, what's in a name? Where do we find our identity, specifically through physical abilities or disabilities, and it's deaf and hearing actors. So personally, anytime that ASL is involved, I want to see it, and I love the different ways that you can enhance and make storytelling more vivid through American Sign Language, and especially the combination of spoken word and American Sign Language. I got to work with some actors at Deaf West a few years ago on a reading about this, and it just really opened my eyes to the culture and the differences and the similarities, and just sort of how beautiful and how specific ASL can be. I'm really interested to see what they do with Romeo and Juliet, and tackling this particular storyline and theme throughout it. And Allie, the director, just seemed like a really wonderful person.
Well, I think it's interesting because to me, Shakespeare is so much about the language and the words and how they sound, and so adding another language element into that could really kind of embellish the poetry that's already there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that makes me very curious how it translates.
Yeah. And what that's gonna look and be like, just more so than you think of any other new show, like that combination of just like two languages telling a story.
And I'm
really
curious.
like 3 languages because there's Shakespeare.
Well,
right,
yeah.
that was the thing I was just
Yeah,
gonna
you're
say
right.
is like, are there, when you read Shakespeare and you're like, I don't even know that word, I've never heard it other than in the context of Shakespearean plays. Do those words exist in ASL?
Right.
Well,
Or
also,
are they gonna be created for this production?
Because they do have to create words a lot, often,
Yeah.
in ASL. The show I worked on was about Chernobyl, and they had to create one for a lot of the words involved, and it was really complicated.
well, one thing was, I know very little about ASL, and it might actually be confused with British Sign Language, is that the way we speak, like the way our verbs and nouns are put together in ASL, it's flipped.
Right.
So that adds a whole nother element of interest. It's, do they, is it going to be keeping the da-da-da-da-da-da sort of thing, or do they have to move everything around and basically rewrite Shakespeare? But at the same time, we're all right now able to hear, so we're thinking about that in that aspect, where who knows, there might already be classes that are taught that has all this for schools, then maybe they are just able to go in and we just don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I love about theater, when you get a chance to, like, through a story, meet something that you know very little about.
Yeah.
Like, for me, that would be ASL. It's like, oh, cool, an opportunity to, like, expand my horizons in an entertaining way.
Yeah.
I've been using ASL often with a 1-year-old, like since the beginning, and it's been really helpful for communication.
Yeah.
Great. So that is my pick, and then Lem, what is your next pick?
My next pick is, I think, Hamlet Mobile. I don't think it is. My next chance it.
Your next chance it.
Chance it is Hamlet Mobile. So it's a van that you have to find out the show that day of on Twitter, and they have 7 scenes of Hamlet that they perform, but they accept only 2 to 4 people at a time in the van, and it sounds like the things your parents tell you not to do, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Get in a van with some strangers and watch.
Especially actors.
Yeah. No, but no, they're gonna perform, one of these 7 scenes that they work on from Hamlet in this van, and so I read through it on the Fringe site, which gives you all like the details, kind of. But then I went to their Indiegogo page and watched their campaign video, and it was definitely a lot more exciting than that. The few paragraphs they have on the page, and so yeah, I'm just intrigued to figure out what does that look like. What does that mean?
This is really my first chance at, because I heard about it from the producer, who I trust immensely, and then it was Hamlet Mobile, which just caught my ear right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. I mean, I think the best way probably to keep track of it is if you follow them on Twitter and then choose that you can get notifications when they tweet. That way you don't miss it when they're like, here's our location, or here's how you get tickets. So that means you just get Twitter will tell you on your phone, oh, Hamlet Mobile just tweeted.
Yeah.
And I think they said that Indiegogo supporters get priority tickets some days.
So did you say that's only 2 people at a time, though?
2 to 4 people, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're fitting, I think they're...
You have to actually be able to
You're
fit
in the van.
Yeah.
And it's free.
And I don't know if
they say free.
Yeah.
Just...
And I don't know if they've purchased the van yet. So that's probably the
One thing that I'm curious about is they say 4 actors living in a van. So are they actually, like, when they're... Is it part of the performance? Because I know some actors and stuff, shows do this, is even if they're not performing, are they still living in that van to make them the home? So by the end, let's say the van's going to be, you can see
Stinky.
people's laundry, but at the beginning it just, like, everything's folding.
Who knows? We have to see. We'll have to try to see her at the beginning and the end.
There's a big old chance.
Yeah. All right, Sarah.
Okay, my next chance it is the Three Musketeers Clowns with Swords. I come from a background in dance, and hearing about stage combat extravaganzas just perked my ears up. I read a little bit about the I believe it's the director, has experience working with Diavolo, a company I used to work for, who's done amazing things with physical theater and dance and architecture. So if it's anything like that, those kinds of shows, I'm just excited to see some awesome stage combat. Chance it.
This is something I really like about, like, Hamlet Mobile, Three Musketeers, Clowns with Swords. Thank you, got it. I know immediately if it strikes my interest, and it makes me want to read more. So yeah, this sounded really cool.
Full disclosure, I work for them, and I would say that their show has, I saw a little bit of a rehearsal, but it was when they first got their set, and their set's really interesting, kind of like how Diavolo takes sets and makes it into something else. So they were working out the kinks. I didn't actually end up seeing a full rehearsal, but I saw a bit of what their physicality is going to do, and I'm intrigued of it myself, even working for them, to see what the show's going to be. But it should be a fun show. There was a show called Hamlet Clown Prince that I saw a couple years ago, and it wasn't Hamlet, it was clowns, and that's what this is going for. This isn't the Three Musketeers. It just takes the ambition of characters of the show and puts it into the clowns, but it has action and the comedy, so it's going to be hopefully a good show. I'm chancing it too.
It's always a chance when you work on something too. And Madeline, your next pick.
I'm going with 5 Sirens, Beware of Rocks. The thing that really intrigued me about that is their theme is miscommunication, and I tend to have quite a bit of that in my life, in my personal life, so I want to see what it's going to be. I know there's 5 different plays written by 5 different women, and I think there's about 2 to 3 actors per show, so I just thought that in itself, I was like, yeah, that sounds good, so I'm chancing it.
Yeah. And following on the Greek mythology theme, this is a family-friendly show for ages 5+, The Voyage of Odysseus. I'm actually confident saying see it because I have seen it. I saw it a few years ago, Josh Feynman is the one man, many props, lots of mythology, but he takes you through the Odyssey, good for kids, and the kids in the audience and adults can play different characters. I happened to see this show about a military man coming home on a military base, so it was very emotional that day, but he's a great storyteller, and he's very personable, and just he gets you really excited about Greek mythology. And as much as I love Greek mythology and mythology in general, the Odyssey has never been one of my favorites, and he really got me psyched about it back then before I had kids. So I'm excited. I'm going to see the second show, and I'll report back. But this is Josh Feynman and Enrichment Works with The Voyage of Odysseus.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, it sounds really cool, and I'm looking at the stuff over your shoulder here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does sound cool. I just want to know more about it, so I'll look on the website.
I remember excellent props with him too. It was very cool.
Where is he performing it?
This is at Theater Asylum, I believe.
It's Pay What You Can to $15.
Yeah, Pay What You Can. Yeah, it's the Lillian Theater. Oh, so that's great.
Nice.
So it's the 3/4. Well,
Kind
the rest.
Yeah.
Lillian is a weird
So
shape.
it's that big. It's a nice open space.
Yeah.
So that would be cool to see that then.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a lot of families there. Cool. And Lem, your next choice?
My next choice is Jason. I guess.
Wow, we're on a theme.
Jason and Medea, which is I just like that story of Jason and Medea, and there's someone I know that's in the show, which is the only reason why I know about the show. But I'm interested in like seeing what it is, and there was. Let me look at my notes. And see
Is it an adaptation? Is it?
Yeah, I think it's an
Yeah, that I think.
I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah, they I think
A
what I remember
reimagination.
reading. Yeah, they actually go into the love story, so it's before the Medea that you might know.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm intrigued by that. Yeah, it says, let's see, the play follows Jason and Medea through the part of their story that never gets told. So.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've been seeing a lot of Jason and Medea's. There's another one in the Fringe this year. There were a couple the last couple of years. That mythology right now is getting unpacked by a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think because Medea as an outsider and like the family dynamic and being torn, that just my random thoughts on why people are interested in this one now.
Yeah.
Or they're not satisfied at all with the Medeas they've been seeing.
Well,
Probably a little bit of both, really.
Yeah.
Also, at least for this one, for the Jason and Medea that you're chancing it, it says, and their story never gets old. A love story, people do tend to, so that's another universal thing that they're going for.
Yeah. I mean, universality. It's an interesting. Sometimes it's a crutch. You think it's universal. You think it, but if you can actually dig into the part of the story we don't hear that much, it could be very interesting.
Yeah, very fresh.
Because when you start Medea, you start with him being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This all
And-
happened.
Yeah, and she's off right now because like a lot's happening. By the end, she's really having trouble. So I spoiler. No, not to give spoilers on an ancient Greek mythology. But you know that there was one at the Theater Boston Court, an adaptation a while ago that you didn't realize that.
Oh, the puppets?
Yeah, it was this weird like Medea and then with puppets, and then it was this weird modern day sort of trailer trashy family, and you didn't realize what was going on, but it was essentially a story we hear a lot, which is a parent killing their children to get back at the father or mother. And so you do hear a lot about those stories, and then realize that is Medea. Sorry, that was a spoiler.
In case you missed high school.
Yeah.
Having trouble.
Anyway, Medea rant. Sarah, what's your next one?
So my next chance it is Tiananmen Annie. It's a solo show. I know very little about it, but just I'll read the synopsis. A hilarious and heartbreaking true coming-of-age tale about living as a university student in China in 88, 89, and working for CNN during the Tiananmen Square uprising. So it sounds like there's a lot of potential there. I love dramas that are set against a like true timeline of events. I think that like I do a lot of my historical learning through stories and plays and movies, and so I think this will be another opportunity for me to like open my horizons and learn a little bit more about like something that happened when I was super little and don't know a whole lot about because I haven't done the research, you know.
Something that appealed to me a couple weeks ago, we saw an art piece or something about Tiananmen Square, and my husband was trying to remember the year, and I was like, I don't know, 50s, 60s? And
it was like late, 89.
Yeah, I was like
yeah.
10, 11 when it happened, but because it's not something that I actually learned about or was taught about, it seems far away. So that's why I was interested in this show as well, because of exactly what you just said. Actually learning something through someone's personal experience.
Yeah, and then also hearing like the human side of any historical story versus just like the facts of like this happened on this day, these people died, you know, really empathizing with a character, especially, you know, someone from a different culture, you know.
And the facts are always told to you through someone else too.
Yeah.
So some of the facts are different depending on who you ask.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but it's also hilarious. So, woohoo! Oh. According to the tag. So I will chance that.
I support that chance.
Madeline, what's your next one?
I went a little bit rogue, and when you guys were talking about puppets, it made me think of The Devil You Say. So I'm going to put my chance it for The Devil You Say. And it's, I believe, a one-woman show, but with at least 2, if not 3 puppets. And I've seen on Twitter her post, and the puppets themselves look amazing. You can actually see some. I'm on the app right now of the Fringe, of the Hollywood Fringe, so you can see it on the app, and I presume then you can see it on the, what is it called? On the website. And it just says that it attributes all the wording and sayings attributed to history greats from Goethe, Marlowe, Punch and Judy. And it's a one-act puppet soliloquy, they say. So I just realized I really do want to see that, so I'm going to put that as my chance it.
Oh, these look like
Yeah.
really interesting puppets.
Hey, podcast, can you see it?
Yeah, this is really great podcasting. Wow, those are great. This is cool.
But, you know, the point is well made is that, like, if you have an interesting visual element of your show, take pictures of it and put it up on the Fringe site. I mean, that, you know, I'm already intrigued here.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't have wanted to see it based on just, like, the title or something, and then you see these puppets and you're like, whoa, that's sick. I love it.
And I think she might be going to the Edinburgh Fringe after this.
Oh,
nice. Oh yeah. Okay, so if you go to their website, The Devil You Say, and the U is just the letter U, thedevilyouSay.com, and go to the show. That's where I'm seeing a photo gallery of the puppets.
That's a whole lot more.
And yeah, I want to go see this.
Right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, if you're into the apocalypse, surreal magic, Shakespeare, Satan, and devils, chance it.
Oh my God, I'm bringing my son. I might bring my son. It would be great.
It is 14 plus, but
you know, he's 14 months, so
15 years from now.
I mean, a 45-minute puppet show, can you really go wrong?
No, and I sit on the aisle. No, but I think it'll be great.
I sit on the aisle in case it goes wrong.
I'll sit in the middle to counterbalance that.
All right, so my next pick is called The Snail. This is the Italian company that was at Theater Asylum last year, and Matt Quinn from Theater Asylum told me about this. The story of a transgender boy and the relationship with his parents and the sex. That might be a translation thing with his parents and the sex, but it could be a poetic thing. In the end, he will become a woman and she will go away from home, but a day she will come back with a great gift for her parents. It's a comedy. So, and, you know, this, I'm interested to know the imagery of the snail. Always interested to see something from another country. I never often prioritize the international projects, and we don't have that many at the Hollywood Fringe for different reasons. So I'll be seeing a preview of this and reporting back.
It looks like it involves a lot of dancing and singing, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
What did they do last year?
I forget the name of it. And I heard mixed things last year.
Yeah.
But I think the most mixed thing I heard was that people would have preferred they did it in Italian rather than there's English.
Oh.
Because the language got in their way. Because it's not their first.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Again, this is chance it. I'm excited though to actually prioritize some international work. And
I was just saying, I'm really curious of what if there's any cultural difference of what the snail means.
right.
Because like I think snail, and I was thinking it takes time for people to accept movement of that.
Mm-hmm.
The snail slow changes slow, but in Italy, the snail can mean something completely different.
Yeah.
Besides physically that it is slow.
Well, and you know, I can't even begin to imagine what it's like to be transgender. But I know when I'm going through a change of any sort, I want it to happen now, and it doesn't really happen right away.
Yeah.
Depending on. Yeah, it's so hard to put myself in that position because I've never been there. So that's another reason that it interests me is really looking at a topic through someone else's eyes. So we are coming up on half an hour. So what I'd like to do is sort of a lightning round.
Yep.
I should say at the beginning that we all had on our picks 4 clowns. What is it? The Half-Wits?
Last hurrah.
The Half-Wits Last Hurrah.
Yeah.
I think the title is Four Clowns Presents the Half-Wits.
Half-Wits Last Hurrah.
Yeah.
And if you at all know the Fringe Festival or any of the festivals, they've been traveling a lot. The 4 Clowns has been around since the first or second year, and they're always a good one. Even when they take a chance. I saw a couple of years ago they took a real departure from their own work, and it was really, really cool. I don't know much about this one, but I know it's 4 clowns, so
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
showbiz farce. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like vaudeville and clowny stuff.
there's a lot of showbiz farce going on this
Yeah.
year.
I've never seen any Four Clowns, so for me, I've heard about them since I moved out to LA. So I'm like, I want to see this. I will rush to the front of the line if I have to get in.
And you should reserve for 4 Clowns because
Yeah.
they sell out.
Yeah.
You can almost, if you do get on the wait list, you can almost always get in. But so any last bits of Chance It and really quick why?
2 Girls, One Bard
Oh
by
yeah.
Illyrian Players, and mostly because last week we were talking to Carly about it.
And Carly's amazing, and you
Yeah.
want to see everything she does.
Carly Wexstein?
Wexton, yeah.
Wexstein, okay. And she was talking about it's a retelling of Romeo and Juliet with two ladies, and the tagline was something really great, like the greatest love story ever told.
With really bad mentors and really young pussy.
Yeah,
That's the one they want. No, that's the one they
Fucked up
wanted
men or
to. Yeah.
something. Yeah.
That's the one they wanted to use, and they did it.
Well, it's out there now.
Yeah.
So they want to change their marketing plan.
That's the one I remembered. So.
No, you're right. That was like their trying it.
Yeah.
But and then the other one is 803, which I might be the only grown man going to that by himself, but it looks like it's a family
Probably going
show.
together.
Okay, good. So I won't feel so weird. But it's a family show, and it seems kind of weird, and it's physical and abstract, and I want to take a chance on that.
Yeah, again, I'm going to see that the first chance I could, and I read the description, I'm like, I have no idea, but sounds like fun.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one thing in their description that I like, and I don't know why it's silly, but the last line of their description is bring 3 coins. And
Yeah.
So, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So-
You've mystified me. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Exactly.
Be there. Maybe with 2
Did
coins.
it tell you like the amount or just 3 coins?
Bring 3 coins.
Just bring 3 coins. So I could bring 3 pennies, $3 coins.
See, that
some
makes me
combo-
think, too, there's something with, like, the river Styx in there or something.
Oh, yeah, it's just like looking a
Obscure
little more
creature.
into it. It's like a fantasy. There's a fantasy element to it. Like, I don't know. I'm just intrigued.
Ooh, do you think that they take 3 coins in Greek mythology? You had to bring 3 coins. Is that what you were referring
Yeah,
to already?
for-
Sorry.
No, that I just referenced it. You're explaining it.
Yeah.
It's-
Sorry. I just
Please, keep explaining.
It's family friendly, and you travel the river Styx to the underworld.
Yeah.
Sounds like
With your family.
Bring coins for everyone.
sounds like fun. You also mentioned It's the Prom before.
Oh yeah,
What was
It's
that?
the Prom is another sort of immersive-y play where it's like you're at it's like 1985 prom San Dimas High or something like that. So I don't know. I'm intrigued on just like trying something that like is not your normal theater deal.
Absolutely. Sarah, what are your?
My super lightning 3 last chances. My super chance is on Wombat Man. It just sounds so ridiculous. I have a special place in my heart for wombats. 100.
That's another podcast.
100 minutes is a long time for a chance, but I will go for it and let you guys know. My other 2 chances are the restaging of Danny and the Deep Blue Sea, Shanley's play, this time with Roberta is now Robert. Curious to see it retold as a same-sex romance idea. And then lastly, I loved the artwork for Robot Teammate and the Accidental Party. If I'm going purely based on judging the book by its cover, that cover is awesome.
Yeah.
I support that chances.
Yeah, absolutely. Madeline.
So I'm going to do a very encompassing lightning round and say people should check out the hollywoodfringe.org/free, and that gives you a calendar of all of the free and pay what you can shows. And the really interesting thing about that is you can see what shows have decided to make their preview shows pay what you can or free.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a show you want to see later, and their tickets could be like $15. But if you see it like on June 4th instead of June 14th, you can see it for free.
Which is smart.
Yeah. So I'm going to encompass that and really encourage that one. And then I'm going to add in, going off of musicals, Aliens versus Musicals. Alien, the monster that you know and love. Musical characters from different musicals that you know and love. They meet. I'm intrigued by that concept.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the Oi of Sex. It's the thing that really got me in their tagline is they say take one version, 2 boyfriends, and several dozen lovers. But the thing that really got me is half a dysfunctional family. And I'm just like, how's that going to be thrown in? So that is my other super chances.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
I support the Aliens versus Musicals one only because of the poster they have is it's the image of Wicked with the cutout of the alien character from Alien.
Yeah,
That's
replacing, is it replacing Glenda or Alpha?
Glinda.
Glinda?
I think
you.
it's Glinda. Oh, maybe it's I don't know.
I can
But I remember that as well, and yes. Okay, so Why Water Falls is a solo show that came to my attention because the writer and performer Lee Curran, I worked with her when she ran Virginia Avenue Project for years, which is a fantastic, intensive mentorship for writing for young kids. And when I worked with them once, some of the kids have been with them for years. And so it was like a real family event. And she retired from there, and this is, she's, okay. It says she's brought face to face with her ambivalence about motherhood and the unexpected consequences she's trying to forget. and having just ventured into motherhood and not knowing anything about this part of her life, it seems really interesting to me.
I have that on my list as well. I think when I looked it up, it said it was 95 minutes.
Yeah, that's long. That is long.
That is long.
We're gonna put it out there.
For
that
a solo
is long.
show.
Yeah.
But I mean, based on your endorsement, that sounds like a chance.
Mhm.
My take.
Oh, sorry.
It's at least
go
gonna
ahead.
be really good writing and storytelling. I know that from
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
I helped her with learning the ins and outs of Twitter, which she has taken to by a storm. So.
She has. It's so much fun to see.
Right? So full disclosure of that. But when I was helping her, I was like, I wanted to know because of my own, because it does touch upon abortion. And I was like, want to know what this is about? And she tells me, and the nice thing is it doesn't take a stance of whether it is good or bad. It just kind of tells somebody's story.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you do look on her Twitter, she posted a picture. I think she's late 60s, and she's doing like a flip on this bar. So I have no clue what that is, but that is also something that's very intriguing.
Yeah,
Wow.
it takes a lot to get me to put a solo show on my preview list, so
Yeah.
that even makes me more excited. Okay, what were my other? 50 Shades of Shrew. 50 Shades of Shrew. That's pretty self-explanatory for a Shakespeare nerd who hates 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, I'm gonna just second the 50 Shades of Grey eye roll.
Yeah. Like, what is it? Somebody has Breaking Bard, but I've never
yeah.
seen Breaking Bad, so I don't know if I would get it.
Right.
But maybe I would. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took this long for 50 Shades of Grey and Taming of the Shrew to like come together.
Seriously. And in my last one, this is, if you like good songs, good musical songs, you would probably like this, but it's especially for Sondheim nerds. It's Marry Me a Little. It's with Good People Theater Company, who are always quality and always do shows for theater people, which aren't usually my deal, but I am a Sondheim nerd, so I'm gonna go see Marry Me a Little. But it's really only a chance it if that's your deal.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, they do very.
They do
quality.
do.
Well,
No, they don't do. It's good stuff.
they make good things.
Great. Well, really quick, Madeline, you suggested one way that people could choose what to see is to go to hollywoodfringe.org/free. I was so happy they created that this year. How do you guys figure out what to see besides somebody telling you that you know?
Oh, I feel like so much happens just like while you're at Fringe, I think, and you're talking to people and you're like, oh, this person seems cool, or you just have a free, 2-hour break in between whatever you're doing, and you're like, well, that's a show, let's go and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's how I find out about the shows that are happening at Fringe.
So you can, like, if you go to Fringe and maybe see one show, leave yourself some room.
Yeah.
And to be open, yeah, because that's sort of the joy and the tragedy of Fringe sometimes, and it's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like once you're hanging out at Fringe Central and yeah, just meeting people and
We
getting
got the
new postcards and
Dragonfly
stuff.
this year.
Yes. Yeah.
I've never been inside there.
You will now.
Yeah. I think when I'm picking shows, I kind of run through a subconscious list of like, do I know anything about it? Does the concept sound interesting or different? How long is it? How much does it cost? And then does it fit into my schedule? And then,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways, for you, the audience who's listening, when we tell you to see it or skip it, a lot of it I think is going to come down to, is it worth this hour and a half of your time?
Mm.
And is it worth skipping other things to see this? Sometimes it's going to come down to simply, is it worth your time, and should you miss other things to see this particular show?
Well, and it's also subjective. Like,
Yeah.
You're super excited about Sondheim, and some people might just be like,
No! Exactly. And
So-
they're super excited about something else that I'll be
Exactly.
And we have a couple other correspondents with other varying interests, and I think it's going to be really fun to see that. We always want to hear what you're seeing or what you're interested in, but no self-promotion. And if you follow See It or Skip It LA on Twitter and Instagram, then you will see all of our picks, as well as our skips. SeeItOrSkipItLA.com will have different listings. And all the shows that we chose for today's podcast are listed below in the description. So I hope that this gives you some way to just jump into the Fringe and start digging.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, and we will see you online at See It or Skip It LA.
Yay!
Yay.
Bye.
It's like waving to
Waving to the world.
Yeah.
I was all ready to clap there, so I was like, oh wait, what?
Which clap are we syncing to?
That was cool. That was
Yeah.
cool. I think that I'll probably find a little bit of clipping, but I think in that conversation was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mumble, I apologize.
No, just a couple times. Please, I tend to talk like this, so it's all I can do. It's 10:48. I think it would be interesting, even though our main podcast is for, audience based, but I think considering the vet's here and you're in digital media and marketing, to talk a bit to the artists about why we may or may not be interested in their show.
Yeah, let's.
Using specifics or not.
What if we did like a 15-minute, just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freeform.
Do you want to do like a case study? Like, let's look at this. Why do we like this? Or do you want to just like be general?
I think if there's something specific you're talking about, we should absolutely feel free to call people out. I don't think it's going to be on the main See It or Skip It. It's going to be, because that's not for this audience, but it would be something that it'll be one of the pirate podcasts, which like don't fit into See It or Skip It, but are part of the work.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I use the bathroom before we do that?
I feel
You
like
say no?
one of my biggest issues was seeing the emails. For that, I'm gonna be a bit more general, I think,
Sorry.
than
Yeah.
necessarily saying, "Hey, you emailed a bad job."
I
Yeah.
don't know if the camera's still working.
Oh, is it battery? Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Okay, let me throw in a new battery. We just
Okay.
might not have a visual for all that we just did.
That's okay. I
Based on all that.
can throw up another, and I want to take a group photo before we go. And when
Yeah, this is like dead ski. But
that's fine. The video is.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much.
It's
for
fun,
inviting me.
right?
It's my first podcast.
Yeah, it's even more fun when it's a real podcast and we all have our mics. But
That sounds.
but
like,
it's a fringy podcast.
That sounds like far too much for 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry I ran late. I
Oh,
won't
no, it's
lie.
fine.
When you text me, that's when I woke up.
Oh.
I was like, close, 60 miles per hour on the 30 mile per hour area.
Always be safe.
Oh yeah, no, I was safe.
Hey, do you want to come in? Okay.
poor Sadie-kins.
If you found it, just give your own opinion. I also have bananas if anybody wants something. Beet chips. Lots of nuts. There's lots of nuts around here.
I mean, I just met Sarah and I barely know them.
What happened?
She said
Just
there's.
being a little raunchy.
Oh no,
No.
I was meant more of. She said lots of nuts around, so I was being
Yeah.
like, oh, we're loony and crazy.
That's
We
fine.
are.
I giggled at you, so.
Um,
Feel okay.
I think.
Did it stop halfway through?
Yeah.
Oh, let me stop this too. Maybe I do that.